Hello, guys, and welcome again to another episode of Coco in the Sun podcast. Today we start a new book. It's called The Hathor Material Messages from an Ascended Civilization. It's by Tom Kenyon and Virginia Essene. And I started reading this book, I say like over 6 months ago, but I wasn't able to finish it. So this way, if I commit to reading a chapter an episode, I think I would actually read it. So I think it has information that I need for my evolution. But again, as always, you see what feels true to the soul and what doesn't, we discard. So the book it's a smaller book than the last book we read in terms of the number of chapters, but I don't know if the chapter lengths are longer. So but it's 13 chapters. Then at the end of the book, there's a list of the diagrams and exercises. So if you want to get this book, I got it on Amazon. It's really cool. I like the diagrams at the back of the book. They also chapter 13 has unasked questions, which is kind of like cool too. That they asked the Hathors. It's a channeled book, so he is channeling the Hathors. And where are the pictures? Oh, so the pictures are throughout the whole book. Okay. So before we start, this is the book. I don't know if you could see it. It has a sticker on it. It came with a sticker from whoever I bought it from, said thank you. I've been really interested in Hathor for a while. I just really like her face and the statues. And I've been interested in the temple at Dannedra in Egypt. A lot of people like to go to the pyramids and stuff, and I think they're great, but I'm really interested in the temples myself. Um, I just think they're so beautiful, and if they would find it in their hearts to like up not update them, but put them back to their original beauty, I would just love that. Of course, that'll take time. So a lot of research is being done on what was done there and what it meant and all the hieroglyphics and stuff like that. But it's really, really looks really beautiful. So Hathor for me came in terms of self-confidence and seeing the beauty in myself. She was really integral. That was like one of the first lessons, I would say, or understandings that was coming through and my evolution of self-love. And I would say she's one of my first teachers, like that she came through really strong in the beginning. And she was like, she said, look up what goddesses looked like. And you see a varying depictions of goddesses. They didn't only look like one way. So she's like, why are you limiting your beauty to one thing? Like beauty is everything. It's like you can't limit it, you can't confine it. And the pictures that came up too were like, full-bodied woman, like full woman. And they were beautiful. Not only they were slim ones too, and there's this all aspects. The goddess has come varying ways across all cultures. And yeah, again, through that sleep wake time, I don't know how I knew it was her, but I would get like messages like, to look up, go and look up pictures of goddesses. And the pictures that came up were ones that I could relate to, ones that I could see my beauty in. And so that was like one of the first aspects that came came in for me. So I have, and then I find like a lot of the things that I'm interested in, and it's just I'm not gonna get into it, like weird things I'm interested in or want to do, I'd find like later on, like months later, I'll see like a depiction of her doing said thing, you know, and I'll be like, oh, so I do have some form of a connection with her. This is the Hathors, which is the civilization, but I think the story is Hathor was one of the original goddesses. She goes way back, even before Isis. Isis may actually be, please don't quote me on this, an aspect of her or come out of um, that I don't want to say thought process, but like, yeah, she's Hathor goes way back. And what I read in the Kaya Ra book, which I'm not sure if all her stuff is true, but she basically says that Hathor was actually a real Egyptian person. Then she says she was a queen, but she had connection with the Hathor civilization, and so a lot of their knowledge and multi-dimensionality comes true with Hathor. Um, so, and she really like cared for her people and her family, and eventually, you know, through her connection and work with the Hathors and dedication, she transcended or something, and so she's known as Hathor. But yeah, so it's a civilization, but I think many people, it don't have to be women, are connected to the Hathors or the Hathor goddess. I feel really, really connected to her. um a lot of confidence, beauty, intelligence, nurturing, loving, caring, wanting to nourish for some reason, not just physical nourishing, which is important, but like mental, emotional, um spiritual nourishing. Like she's very nourishing. um so yeah, so that's why I was interested in Hathor and really interested in this book. I don't know why I couldn't finish the book, but I'm glad that maybe now I'm ready for it. Maybe I wasn't ready for it then. Maybe I'm supposed to read it with my podcast, so that I don't have any preconceived notions and I could learn along with everyone else, whoever's or will be looking at the podcast. I don't know. I think everything's divinely planned and set up, so I don't really question things anymore. Well, some things, I still question some things, but I'm getting better at not questioning and trusting the divine process. So, okay, let's see. So, oh, messages that came through. So for me this week, a lot of connection with the animals and the beings of the planet. And also just out of the blue, I got this week, and like I heard in a dream, but not in my ear, like in my mind. It's weird. Food is provincial. So I looked up provincial because this is not how I speak, and I don't know um what it meant, but it kept saying, I kept hearing food is provincial, or I kept thinking food is provincial, food is provincial, Provincial, I think. So I looked up provincial, and provincial means of or concerning a province of a country or empire, of or concerning the regions outside the capital, outside of a country, especially when regarded as unsophisticated and narrow-minded. Um, as a noun, it's an inhabitant of a province, of a country, or empire. So I think it can mean that we're heading into a time where maybe food will be more county based or more localized. Um, it says here provincial can mean having attitudes and opinions supposedly common of people living in the provinces. So maybe more common, like the food is more common, like, I don't know. I think it's more like county wise. Like I think food is going to be more localized for some reason. Like we're gonna have to start. I don't know when or if this even is a fact. I'm just telling you what I heard. Food is provincial. I don't know if we're gonna have to start farming in our areas or closer access. I think this would help maybe with big business and big corporations and the chemicals in the food if we're able to locally source our food and not put chemicals into the soil, make sure that the animals that we are eating have a quality of life because as we read in the other book, Bring Us to the Dawn, that everything has a vibration. And if you are going to eat animals, you want them to have a quality of life. So if you do consume, you are consuming quality of life, right? You don't want to consume a vibration that's, they had a horrible life and didn't live fully and were fearful when they were dying and it wasn't done in a way that was peaceful for them or calming for them or you know they were in a heightened state of fear, anything like that, because you consume that. So that's what they were saying in Bring Us to the Dawn. So I feel like food is going to change how we eat, and it doesn't have to be all at once. I think just be mindful of when we're purchasing. Like if we go to Whole Foods, free range chickens, right? They live freely and they're not stacked on top of each other, living awful lives and stuff like that. If you're still into eating meats and stuff like that, and then you don't want chemically processed foods or foods grown in the ground where there's a lot of chemicals and pesticides and stuff like that. I think we're heading out of that. I think that type of way of mass production is unhealthy for the earth and the beings of earth, including us, because we're consuming it. So I think we're moving away from that, and that would help with breaking down these big corporations. I think if the consumer on an individual basis pays more attention to how they are eating. And I don't think it's going to happen overnight. And I don't think it has to be like all at once, but just little by little, we get there, like we pay a little more attention. Where's this vegetable coming from? It's a process. It have a lot of chemicals. Maybe I need to go to the farmer's market. Maybe I should check that out more and stuff like that. So we'll see. But that's what I got in the dream. Food is provincial. That's all I could think of that it could possibly mean that it's going to be more localized. So it needs to be localized. Also, like I told you, like a lot of connection with the animals. Um, and making sure they're okay and they're fed. And I'm not just talking about animals that we eat, like the animals of the planet, I think that we're moving more into that, into harmony with the other beings of this planet that we live with. Not othering them, but seeing them as also part of us, right? Of our experience. And if they have a good experience and we have a good experience, it's all interconnected. So that's what I was getting this week, the dreams and stuff like that. So I just thought I'll share it with you. We shall see how it progresses. Okay. So I don't know if I should start with just like chapter 1 or if I should okay, so this is on like one of the first pages. It shows um her face. I love her face. Um, so it says that this photographic image is from a newly discovered temple complex in Memphis, Egypt, covered with sand and silt from ancient Nile floods. This temple sculpture is particularly significant as it contains the best preserved representation of the Hathors to date. So maybe they do look like that. I don't know. Okay, so I don't think we're gonna read the dedication or the acknowledgements. I'm gonna read his introduction. I think I'll read his introduction because I think I like that he says, um, to discern for yourself, what's true or not. I think his other book that I have too, he's really like focused on that. That you need to discern for yourself, like the messages are channeled. And I'm feeling my glasses. Okay. Um, yeah, that the books are channeled and you need to discern, right? Because not everything that channeled is right or could be beings that have the best for everyone. So you do have to listen to what your spirit is saying in regards to, is this the truth or is not the truth for you at this point in your evolution? Okay, introduction by Tom. Minds are like parachutes. They only work when opened. Okay, so this material you're about to read comes from a most unusual source, a group of interdimensional beings known collectively as the Hathors. These beings claim to exist in the fourth dimension of our universe. They are our elder brothers and sisters of consciousness. They have been involved with mankind for millennia. In ancient Egypt, they worked through the fertility cult of the sky goddess Hathor, and they are masters of sound and energy. Like Hathor means home of the sky or home of Horus, the Egyptian god, but he was the Egyptian god of the sky, I think. So you see the play on words there. I think I read that somewhere. That could also be why I just love Horus and opening your Horus eyes, right? That your ancient eyes to see all the connectedness of everything. Anyways, that was information we got from Bring Us at the Dawn, the Horus eyes. I'm not making that up. I'm not saying it's not made up, but the book states it. Okay. Um, the hat, the Hathors are masters of sound and energy. A little over 3 years ago, I was unexpectedly approached by one of these beings during meditation. At that time, I was given detailed instruction in a system of sacred geometry designed to open the higher brain centers. Oh, okay, I'm going to read that over. I love sacred geometry. I think it's amazing. Speaking of which, let me show you my favorite thing. I have I love sacred geometry. I really love the flower of life right now. So show you show you guys this sphere of the flower of life. I love that it's a sphere because every time I see it like in 2D, like a flat drawing, but this gives a better impression of what it would look like as a sphere. And you can see, like, sometimes I stare at it and you can see all these different shapes intersecting, with I really love this thing. Anyways, so yeah. So when he mentioned this sacred geometry thing, I kind of like that. Anyway, so let us continue. Let us continue reading. So I'm going to start over the second paragraph. A little over 3 years ago, I was unexpectedly approached by one of these beings during meditation. At that time, I was given detailed instruction in a system of sacred geometry design to open the higher brain centers called ICT, or interdimensional consciousness training. What? I would like to do that through sacred geometry instruction. Oh my God. Okay. According to the Hathors, we have 3,200 chakras in the brain. The ajna, or third eye, and crown chakras being only 2 in the head. 3,200? 32. So bring us in the dawn, we're talking about 12 chakras, 5 outside the body. They're talking just in the brain. We have 3,200 chakras. This book has come into existence because the Hathors requested it. I certainly had no desire to write such a thing myself. I was very busy with my psychotherapeutic practice, research, and teaching. For the previous 2 years or so, I had been teaching the ICT work throughout the United States with wonderful results. It was very clear to me that this inner technology was changing people's lives for the better. I want to learn how to do this. I had also been doing sound work with the Hathors, which was most intriguing since much of my background is in the area of psychoacoustics, the study of how sound, language, and music affect consciousness. Most of my Hathor group's work is done through the use of sound, specifically via tuning, in which I align with my mentors and allow them to make sounds through my voice. Oh, so the Hathors make sounds through his voice. This work was fascinating for me and often powerful for those experiencing it. I had integrated this part of their work and was fairly comfortable with it when my Hathor group asked me to channel a book for those who were not able to hear their sounds in person. I balked at the idea. I did not see myself as a channel, although I think in some ways we are all channels. And I did not want to get involved with such an undertaking. After a good deal of coaxing on their part, however, I relented and agreed to write their book. I found that I could not bring their thoughts through in written form at the computer since my internal editor would come in and want to change punctuation and grammar midstream, which threw me out of the trance state. Since I did not have enough time to record the information onto tape and then transcribe it, I basically told the Hathors to forget it and find someone else. I certainly had no pretense that I was the only child for this information, and so I forgot it. And so had the Hathors, or so I thought. About 4 months later, the Hathors shocked me and got my full and rapt attention when I was visiting the San Francisco Bay Area. I was giving an introductory evening event before a weekend Hathor workshop when a woman came up to me in the line of people asking questions. She introduced herself as Virginia, it seemed. I knew the name since I had read some of her books, but we had never met before. You need to realize too that there was only one person who knew about the thwarted book attempt, my wife Pam. So here, this complete stranger comes up to me and says, "Hi, my name is Virginia Isine, and I feel a little odd about conveying a message for you since we haven't met yet, but I have one for you." I remember saying to go ahead. She then told me that her guidance and the Hathors had come and asked her to help to get me to realize the importance of the book. I was dumbfounded. For a moment, I couldn't speak, and then I laughed. What a hoot. I told Virginia what I had. I told Virginia that I had, in fact, tried to write the material down, but I was too busy to transcribe anything. Without missing a beat, Virginia volunteered her publishing group to help me in the project. And so the Hathors found a willing midwife through Virginia and the Share Foundation. Without them, this book would not have been written. And so I wish to thank Virginia for her openness and vision. I wish to thank her and her staff for their help, for the myriad of details involved in such a project. And I also wish to thank those who helped transcribe this taped material into printed format for Virginia's editing. I love the word myriad. Okay. The Hathors have said repeatedly that our human feelings are an important aspect of conscious evolution. And so I would ask you to sense your own feeling responses to their words and to their ideas. don't just accept them as intellectual concepts, but rather sense how they rev rev vibrate in your own heart and mind. The Hathors are truly some of the most loving and masterful beings I have yet encountered, and it is an honor for me to be able to introduce you to these most ancient sages. I trust that you will be touched as deeply as I am, as I have been. Open those parachutes. This was written by Tom Kenyon on January 12th, 1996, on the day Uranus enters Aquarius. I'm Aquarian, by the way. Uranus is our planet. Uranus is the planet for Aquarius. So that's really beautiful how Uranus enters Aquarius, and that's when he started writing the book. I'm not an astrologist. I don't know. For astrologers, when Uranus enters Aquarius, is that like a double Aquarius? Okay. Then before that, before the chapters start, he has this symbol. This is weird for me because my watercolors. I've been thinking of, I love the sickle moon. Like I love the sickle moon, the new moon. And I was thinking of painting an image of the sun and the sickle moon together. And then look, this book, it's in the book. It's in the book. It's in the book. Also, the dot. I saw another YouTube video is what consciousness first recognized itself. And then the circle was like becoming aware of its surroundings, and then it makes more circles. It's like, wait, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And so it expands from there. So that's kind of cool too. The dot is like the origin point. The zero space, I think. I'm going to read it. I don't know what it says yet. I'm just talking off my head from seeing the image. The image kind of surprised me, and it's so I'm guessing. I'm not guessing. I'm really glad I picked this book because a lot of synchronicities already. Myriad is a favorite word of mine, and it's a synchronicity for me. It makes me think of a certain thing every time I see it. And they every day, across the day, I see it or hear it somewhere. Okay. And I just love it when do that. Also, right, the painting I wanted to do. Sacred geometry. And now, so anyway, let me stop. I'm going to read what it says under the image, okay? I'll read it. It says, the ancient alchemical symbol above denotes the sacred mystical marriage of the masculine and feminine. This marriage is not a secular event. Rather, it is something that occurs deep within the individual human, a balancing of one's own internal life forces. As an individual balances the so-called masculine and feminine currents, one enters a state known as the universal androgyny. This balanced state of consciousness opens the portal to the deeper mysteries of one's own consciousness. I believe this. I believe it. I believe it's the first step. And then from there, you learn more of your multidimensionality and your past lives and your past wisdom. And yeah, I think the first part is marrying the feminine and masculine aspects of yourself in a balanced way, which we spoke about in Bring Us of the Dawn. And if you don't want to go through every episode of each chapter, just look at the last episode I did for Bring Us of the Dawn, the review. It talks about it in there. I read it. I go through every chapter and all the highlighted parts that were important. The video is about an hour and 15 minutes, but it's worth it because it has a lot of information in a condensed form, right? The important points. But you should still read the whole book because there's a lot more expansion going on there and understanding. But yeah, they talk about this balance in the feminine, masculine, and Bringers of the Dawn. It's integral to get to the next step. I think once we looking at I'm sorry to digress. Looking at another Ann Tucker video that only came into my field last week. And so she basically, or the angels were basically saying the first merging is a divine feminine and masculine within ourselves. Then a multi-dimensionality, which would include like our past lives and ourselves in different dimensions. I think I'm not sure what multi-dimensionality means, but for me, I think it's been showing up as past lives and accepting and loving those past lives, even if.
Sorry, I don't know them.
What is wrong with Alexa? Alexa, off. Just so. Anyway, so, and then like multidimensionality. And then from there, she said the angels said that that's when your higher self comes in, when those are all blended. And the higher self really comes in. And so that you are a combination of human and divine being in one. Ah, how wonderful that would be or is. I think like, it's gradients of it and integrations of it. So, but yeah. So that's kind of cool that they're talking about here, the merging of the divine feminine and masculine aspects to become what is known as the universal androgyne. This balanced state of consciousness opens the portal to the deeper mysteries of one's own consciousness. The round disc signifies the sun or positively charged electrical force. The crescent at the bottom signifies the moon or negatively charged magnetic force. The balancing of electrical and magnetic forces within one's own being is one of the goals of Egyptian alchemy. We have placed this symbol in this book as a kind of silent prayer. It is our fervent desire that the battle between man and woman, whether in the outer world or the inner, comes to a close, that the peace of balance be found by all persons within the sacred temples of their own hearts, and that this peace that passeth all understanding be spread throughout the world. Yeah, I think if this really does align with everyone, there'd be less wars, there'd be no wars. No wanting to conquer, right? Because that's like an aspect of the divine masculine, overcompensating or distorted, wanting to control and conquer. Control resources, control people. So this is really a good intention for all of humanity, that the masculine and feminine aspects are balanced within. I like that intention. Maybe I add it to my daily intentions. Okay, so chapter 1. I'm not sure we should start then, because it feels like it's a lot of info. These chapters are definitely longer than the other book. So although it's less chapters, it's longer chapters. I don't know if I should start the chapter now, because we've gone through a pretty good introduction, and just leave it there, or if it'll be too much information all at once, right? This introduction is pretty cool. And so it's that symbol thing. Oh, let's start. Chapter 1, who we are and why we have come. We are the Hathors. We come in love and with the sounding of a new dream reality for your earth. If you are ready to build a new world, we invite you to join us on a journey of the mind and heart. We are your elder brothers and sisters. We have been with you for a very long period of your evolution on this planet. We were with you in eons past, even in the forgotten days before any trace of us is known in your present written history. Our own nature is energetic and interdimensional. We originally come from another universe by way of Sirius, which is a portal to your universe. And from Sirius, we eventually proceeded to your solar system and the etheric realms of Venus. In the past, we have specifically worked with and through the Hathor fertility goddess of ancient Egypt. Editor's notes. For the sake of clarity, we will use the spelling Hathor exclusively for the Egyptian goddess and the spelling Hathor for those ascended beings referred to in this book. We also made contact with the Tibetan lamas in the formative period of Tibetan Buddhism. Thus, some of their unique teachings and practices about the use of sound came from our own lineage and our teachings with them. Although we have interacted with some of Earth's early cultures, we are an intergalactic civilizations with outposts that span parts of your own universe and beyond. We are what you might term an ascended civilization, a group of beings existing at a specific vibratory field, even as you have an energy signature. It is simply that we vibrate at a faster rate than you. Nonetheless, we are all part of the mystery, part of the love that holds and binds all the universes together. We have grown as you have grown, ascending to the one source of all that is. So in the other book, it's the Palladians, and in this book, it's the Hathors, all wanting us to, oh, they are two like birds outside flying around each other on the fence. Um, like a pair of them, they're playing with each other. Oh, it's so cute. Anyway, yeah, so the Palladians came to help us. The Hathors came to help so far. I'm sure many more. These are just the books that I've been aware of right now, but wow, these ascended civilizations really do care, huh? Okay. We have grown as you have grown, ascending to the one source of all that is. We have grown in joy and through sorrow as have you. We are, in terms of the vastness, a little higher on the spiral of awareness and consciousness than you are. Therefore, we can offer you what we have learned as friends, mentors, and fellow travelers on the path that leads back to remembrance of all that is. They speak of remembrance as well, as does the Palladians and Bringers of the Dawn. Basically, it's in us. It's just for us to unlock it and remember. We are in a great period of healing at all levels of this local solar system and in all kingdoms, not just human. And yet, you humans hold the key for the evolution and the ascension of your planet Earth. That key requires free will choice, and what you humans choose or do not choose affects many kingdoms in this world. You are poised at a momentous time in the history of consciousness on this planet. Something is occurring that has never occurred before, and it is a joy and a kind of ecstasy for us to participate with you once again and to come into your conscious awareness. For the last time we were together consciously was in ancient Egypt. Egyptian history holds few clues to our existence, our motives, or our physical description. However, there are carvings left behind from the temples of Hathor that show our likeness. A photograph of one such carving appears twice in this book and may serve as a remembrance for some of you. So they did look like that, is that what this is saying? In the pages that follow, we will attempt to bring to you tools and understanding from our level of awareness. It is our hope and our desire that these will prove helpful to you. We want to be clear that we are not your saviors again, just like with the Palladians. They want us to know we are not your saviors. We are not messianic because they know we like to make people gods. They know that. They are trying to tell us, don't do that. We're not that. We just showing here, we teaching here. We are your brothers and your sisters who dwell close to you. Yet we will not intrude in your choice making nor into your evolution, for that is your own free will. But we do stand ready to assist you. We stand ready to assist you, not just through the techniques and the understanding that we will reveal in these pages, but we are ready to work with you intimately and individually for greater health and consciousness. Oh my goodness. You're choosing this book as a sign of willingness, and we are ready and available to you on many levels of consciousness. By offering our aid, however, we do not wish to interfere with your other spiritual helpers and cosmic relationships in any way, nor with any religious beliefs, affiliations, or organizations of help to you. Even so, there is a great deal we would like to share. Then let us begin with an understanding of yourself as energy. Energy is where we will begin our comments because upon the earth at this time, consciousness is locked and fixated on what you would call three-dimensional reality, the material world that you can touch and see with your physical senses. And yet, within the spectrum of energies, the electromagnetic spectrum that your physicists have uncovered, you can only see less than 1% of what exists. Jeez and Egypt. There is 99% that we cannot see. This is just 1% of it. We exist in that other 99% of unperceived energy, as do the innumerable other kingdoms of this universe you have yet to identify. If you but understood how cherished you are in the other realms, you would be able to release the shackles of self-abnegation that have held your species for centuries. We are cherished in the other realms. Yet, thankfully, all of that is beginning to be erased, which brings us great joy and laughter. Indeed, you will find that we elder brothers and sisters have a sense of humor because the manifestation of the one source unfolding into infinite realms and levels is essentially joyful, even humorous. For it is a joke, is it not, that the infinite can place itself in the finite. The infinite can place itself in the finite. It's like taking the sky and putting it into a glass jar, thinking all the while that you are the glass jar, until one day the jar shatters and the sky is freed. That's a beautiful metaphor for that. Is that a metaphor? It's a beautiful visual. Don't be afraid of the shattering, friends. It does not need to be difficult. It does not need to be sorrowful. It can be joyful, happy, and very comical. They say, and very, very comical. Too very. With these comments, it is now our recommendation that you bring forth any questions that may have arisen. Do you have specific questions you wish to ask, Virginia? Virginia, this is Virginia speaking now. Since I want to introduce you Hathors in a way that will help people feel a sense of intimacy, please describe how many are in the group or council that are working to bring us this information. And please give any identifying factors about your interests or areas of expertise in different fields. We'd like to get that information in this first chapter so people can have a sense of meeting you, as it were. The Hathors. We are a group of 10. There are actually 13 of us, but 3 are not involved in the transmission of this material. They are witnesses and stand back from this process. The 10 of us are expressing more or less as a group consciousness, and we are being channeled primarily through one of our group, whose name is AVAR. AVAR. A as in apple, V as in Victor, A as in apple, R as in roof. Virginia asks, Avar? The Hathors. Yes, we are 10 individuals out of a civilization of several million. Our background includes what we would call a physician, a scientist, several teachers, and historians. There's one of us who is also what you might term a mystic or philosopher. Although by nature, we are all mystical and philosophical. So in a group, we have very different and varying perspectives. Virginia, you obviously chose to do this. Can you give us a reason why? The Hathors. We cherish and love our human brothers and sisters. We sense and we see a tremendous change unfolding on this planet. You are in the midst of a birthing process into a new dimension of consciousness. Our civilization has been through this process as well. We know intimately that birthing pains of passing through the portal of time and space into a greater reality. Therefore, out of our love and compassion and our joy to be with humans, we have chosen to bring forth this material in hopes that it will assist you. Virginia, well, we certainly thank you for that. Can you clarify for us this aspect of the feminine principle, this feminine, creative, fertile quality that the name Hathor seems to imply? Oh, this is a long answer. I'm thinking I will read this answer and then I'll stop there for the day because it's a long answer, but I think it's important. So the question is, again, can you clarify for us this aspect of the feminine principle, this feminine, creative, fertile quality that the name Hathors seem to imply, okay? Yes, the Hathors are responding now. Yes, everything in the universe is cyclic in nature and dualistic in nature until you get to the fundamental octave that integrates all duality in unity. But all things in the universe, the physical universe, and all the other subtle universes have polarity. In terms of human metaphors, these polarities are masculine and feminine, or positive and negative electrical charges. At the time of our coming to the early consciousness of mankind, our emerging consciousness was in touch with the great earth, which you might call the great mother. The great religions of the past did refer to earth as the great mother. And so it was that early consciousness sorry, I have to read that over. The great religions of the past did refer to earth as the great mother. And so it was that early consciousness here was deeply connected to this earth matrix. This consciousness of earth as feminine. So the feminine mysteries and the feminine nature were the fundamental expressions of consciousness. Then, as the feminine began to be overtaken by what would be termed the masculine, we, as your witnesses, observed certain things occurring. Humans began a disconnection from Earth and a movement into autonomy. While it was important that mankind come to a realization of its autonomy, being disconnected from the Earth and from the interconnectedness of all life is very dangerous. What is now happening is that human consciousness is beginning to sense that it must return to the honoring of the great Mother Earth. And this is a cyclic progression. In the early formative period of Egyptian cosmology, the goddess Hathor was associated with the sky. It was later that Hathor became identified as a fertility goddess. It is no accident that her name and ours are similar. We seeded and assisted that early symbol of the feminine mystery. The goddess Hathor does have an independent existence separate from us, and she is what might be termed an archetypal pattern. She is a cosmic force that can be metaphorized, and we, as a culture, have identified with her qualities of love, ecstasy, and bliss. Presently, human consciousness has gone through two polarities: the earth consciousness of mother, and then the autonomy or masculine consciousness of father, but neither coming together. What is happening is that the two must come together so that the masculine and feminine are in balance. It is no accident that this process of each human coming to terms with his or her own androgyny, his or her own male femaleness must occur. There is a sensing of those who are aware and awake that the feminine and the masculine must be balanced. They realize the war must be ended between the male and female polarities so that the autonomy of the masculine principle and the receptivity of the feminine can return to balance. As the feminine arises again out of the ashes, so too as the feminine arises out of the ashes, so to speak, the ancient mysteries of Egypt are returning. And the returning of this knowledge is simply an assistance. What humans choose to do with their own free will I don't understand this sentence. It doesn't read well. What humans choose to do with it what humans choose to do with it is their own free will choice. So the returning of this knowledge is an assistance. It is ancient Egypt mystery knowledge is an assistance. And what humans choose to do with it is their own free will choice. But the concept is returning, and many of you are remembering your roots in ancient Egypt and these earlier times because it is time for the feminine to reawaken. But let us suggest the feminine is returning in a different way than before, as a balanced principle, not totally feminine, not totally masculine, but an androgynous merging of the two in balance. We're going to stop there for today in chapter 1. We still have some more to read, and we'll do that again in the next episode. So those are all. I'm glad I chose this book. So just to review, we've started the Hathor Material, Messages from an Ascended Civilization by Tom Kenyon and Virginia Essene. We did the introduction. We talked about the diagram of the sickle moon and the sun. And we started chapter 1. We're learning about the merging of the feminine and masculine aspects of ourselves in order to access higher consciousness. So they describe it as the autonomy and positive charge of the masculine. That's what it means. And the feminine is the receptivity and negative charge. And we need to balance those two aspects of ourselves to be an androgynous aspect, a universal androgynous self, in order to have access to higher consciousness. I think so as we do this within ourselves, then our relationships reflect this. So we have really healthy feminine and masculine relationships. It doesn't have to be with a masculine, like a male, right? Someone that has more masculine energy. Oh, someone that has more feminine energy, but it'll be in harmony with each other. Oh my God, the potential for this, because everything like comes out and go out and go out and go. It starts inside and then it comes out and comes out. Huh? So then we will see that in our thinking, in our culture, business, you know, if you want to say religions, family life, all aspects of being human will reflect this balance. So that's interesting. I'm excited. I'm glad I chose the book. Yeah, I'm excited to see what it has to say and how it progresses and what it suggests, like what it recommends, the exercises and stuff like that. Also, don't forget, I had mentioned the dream about food being provincial. So I don't know if we're heading that way, but again, if you can eat in a way that's a little more focused on the healthy aspect of food. I don't mean healthy as in salad, I mean healthy as in not grown in, chemical filled soils with pesticides or chemically processed foods. And that's based completely on your own judgment, what feels good to you. You might it will naturally occur that you'll want to do it. And it'll occur in an integration that's fun and interesting for you. Like I was telling you guys like before, like I still like potato chips and stuff. But I find like now like I like freshly cooked food. Like I like my home cooked food more than outside food. I used to love outside food. I used to love fast food. And I still like sometimes I feel for like a chicken salad sub, or there's this Chinese food restaurant that I really like where the food is like really fresh and vegetables are punchy. And I like it. But like this other Chinese restaurant I used to eat at, the food now I can tell like it tastes really chemically processed and stale and old food, like old oil. Like I can taste all those things now. I couldn't before. Like I didn't care. I was like, oh, that tastes good. So the more you pay attention to yourself and what you want and honor what yourself wants, then you'll find that you generally want what's good for you, you know, in phases. Because I still like my potato chips. My potato chips, my potato chips. I still like my Oreos sometimes, but not like not every day. Times, like, I just feel fed now and then. Anyway, so food being provincial, and I think we're coming into more harmony with the other beings of Earth, the animals and stuff like that. I am anyway feeling more connected to them. And the more that we are able to connect and love in that way, I think they have wisdoms that they can share with us, and we'll be open to those wisdoms. I'm not open to them yet. I still in process. But I think that's what happens. As you're able to be more loving to yourself, then you're more loving to others and other beings. That opens a communication, I think. Love is the Palladian said light, information, and love. Light, information first, and then love. Um, so yeah, so the information that loving yourself is the way to go. And then when you start loving yourself, I think it allows you to love others and other beings and see them differently. And I think that opens up forms of communication as it progresses. It's 124, is it? That's my birthday, January 24th, 124, 124, 124, 124. Anyway, so yeah. So I suspect. I don't have proof of it yet, but I think I'm getting that understanding. And they have wisdom to share with us. Not just the animals, but the beings of earth, right? Like the trees and the plants and the flowers, all the energies that are here contributing to this existence, this beautiful existence. The other day, I also read that the stars have wisdom, and I was like, oh my God, never thought I would love, 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 love to share that star wisdom with. I would love it. If, of course, it's not overwhelming for me and not enjoyable for me. I only want to know what is best for me and the pace that it's best for me and the way that I enjoy it the most in the most loving way for me. That's how I want to learn. I want to learn in love and joy. I want to learn and gentleness. I don't want to learn in harshness and separation and bad experiences anymore. Moving forward, I intend to learn in love and joy and laughter and humor and loving exchanges and interactions and in gentleness and in peace and in calm. Did I say love? Anyways, I hope you have a great day. So I'm trying to post on Wednesdays and Fridays and tape these episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then if by the grace of God I'm granted a guest, post the guests that I have on Mondays. That's what I think the process will be for me. I'm trying it out. Let's see if it works. And so yeah, so this will be posted Friday. And then the next episode, if I don't have a guest, will be next Wednesday, you know? And then yeah, so hoping you have a great day and that you know that you are loved and that you know that you are loved and you're gentle with yourself in all your processing. And you know, if you're having some not pleasant feelings, taking time to look at these feelings and love yourself through it. And what is it trying to say? What is this feeling trying to tell me? And not just suppressing it, because we suppress bad feelings, they turn into dense things, and then it'll manifest in the body, manifest in your experience in a physical way. And we can catch it in the emotion aspect and the feeling aspect. And look at it, you know, and love it and understand it and be patient with it and see what it's trying to tell us. We can transmute it in love and move forward and be clear and light and open for more new understandings and thoughts and new good experiences and good abundance and good relationships and understanding. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again. So have a great day and we will talk again soon. Bye.